and I hired the first two members of my team from Jyoti itself. I hope I'm audible, right? You can hear me, right? This is difficult. Webinars are difficult mostly because I don't get any feedback. Anyways, so this has been my journey so far. So over the time, I was fortunate to interact with a lot of students. I was conducting workshops and seminars, and I have been traveling to a few places, interacted with a lot of students and people, those who come for internships and while looking for hiring. So from this journey of 3-member team to 16-member team, I had to interview almost 50, 60 people to get those 16 people out of them, right? So, and it was never an easy job. Hiring was never an easy job. There are tons of people out there with a resume applying for various jobs, but picking out the right candidate was never easy for many reasons that we are about to discuss. So the reason why I just mentioned my story is because it is relevant, because the market is huge. There are like now you can listen to people saying a lot of things like, no one knows what is going to happen. True, but that has been always the case. No one ever knew what is going to happen tomorrow. We were not able to predict the future even back then before Corona. But now with this, all these things happening, people are like, you don't know what is going to happen. There might be no jobs for you, so do that, do this. There are many people giving you many advices and stuff. But then I'm saying my take on that is different. My take is that there are opportunities for those who look out there, right? So now, stressing on that part, building a career, the rest we'll discuss later. So building a career. Moving just before that, I just want to know, what do you feel? Who is an engineer? Can you just answer to me? Answer me. What do you feel about this? Who is an engineer? How would you define an engineer? Just type in a few words, like throw some words of what you feel is an engineer.
An engineer is a person who finds a problem, analyzes the problem, and solves the problem.
Right. Any more answers? I'll keep waiting until one of you answers. One more. I just want one more answer. Okay, we are getting closer. So we need to find something in an easy way, right? So ask this question to Google and see what they have to say. So when you ask Google, this is the first result that I got yesterday while searching. So it says engineers are people who solve problems and focus on making things work more efficiently and effectively, right? They apply the theories and principles of science and mathematics to research and develop economical solutions to technical problems. So the answers that we got are right. That is, so it's a engineer who finds a solution to problem in an easy way. Creators innovate something to solve a problem. So that's all right. But as engineers, what we have to focus is basically on building economical solutions and efficient solution and effective solutions, right? So another question, if you go on Google and search engineering marvels, there are tons of examples that you can see, like from civil to software. There are plenty of examples that you can see out there, like many bridges and all those what we have achieved. The first, probably, like at this time, you might be concerned of going out and eating at a restaurant with using your hands, because you feel like you need to sanitize your hands, and like there are a lot of thoughts going in. So that's a problem that you're facing, let's say, and we can solve it by using a spoon, a disposable spoon. So you don't need to eat with your hands. You can just use a spoon from a disposable plate and a disposable spoon. You can eat it, right? So that's a problem solved. And from solving that to bigger problems, right? Like bridges and buildings and software solutions and whatnot. Like there's a lot of list, right? So in all that, the key part is solving things more efficiently and effectively. So now, um, are you seeing me or my screen? Screen, okay. So now if you also search on Google saying engineering failures, there are a lot of images and news articles and all that you can get. For example, a bridge that is being built from two ends, it does not meet at one point. It is supposed to be meeting at one point. People are meant to cross the bridge, but the calculations went wrong and things didn't go according to the plan. And the bridge is now forming a two-way lane. Do you get the picture? Maybe I can just search for it. Right. See, so now this is what I'm talking about. When engineers don't do their work properly, they're not trying to be efficient. They're not trying to. So getting things done is what you're trying to solve. This might happen, right? So solving problem is very critical, but that almost everyone can do. Anyone with common sense, when they come across some problem, they do solve it even without having to go to an engineering school, or they don't need to spend much time. So like for example, at this times of corona, ration shops, they had to disperse the rice and grains and stuff, so they put a PVC pipe to maintain social distancing. That was a problem of the hour, and they just fixed it. But they were not engineers, and we don't call everyone engineers. Those people might have hardly gone to any school. I'm not saying they don't go, but I'm saying they don't. They're not engineers, but they have solved a problem. So solving a problem more efficiently and effectively is really important, right? So now coming to our topic, building a career. Again, to you, what do you mean by building a career? What do you look when you say building a career? Throw some words, not necessary to speak up. I'm happy to hear you, but just throw some words. Like, what do you look for? Money, fame, satisfaction, nice, power. That's it. Passion. I guess that's it. Can we get one more? Come on, you're all studying BTech, hoping to land a job and do something, building a career. So, what is it? I'm not talking about full stack web development here. I'm just talking about building a career. What is it that you look forward after completing this 4 years? What do you want to do in your life? The feeling of being your own boss. Let's talk about that in a while. By the way, this talk is not about entrepreneurship. It's about building a career. That can be anything. So, I mean, there are no wrong answers here. I'm just saying, certain points need to be stressed. Keeping our future safe. Okay, I guess that's enough for now. So, uh, we can probably sum up what you just said in a few things. So, we build a career by doing something that we are happy about. In the process, we make some money and we make a family. We have material possessions. We buy a car, we buy a house, etc., whatnot, right? So this is mostly what we aim to do by building a career. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have anything to say against this, like, or this is not just it. So I've covered passion. So like when you're happy doing something, building a career, that's called passion, right? You have a passion for it, so you don't mind doing it. You're happy in the process. You make money, right? So anything else to add on to this? Any answers? Appreciation. We need to be happy. So to be happy, we need appreciation, but that's true. So I guess we have that part sorted. So we need to be happy doing something. In the process, we make money and we do a lot of stuff with that money, right? So now, how do we build a career? So since this talk is regarding with respect to full stack developer, like so we need to build some sort of skill to build a career. So that can be the full stack developer. You can be a full stack developer or a front end developer or a tester or a data analyst or an AI interaction designer. So the list is endless. There are tons of opportunities out there. I'm just uh, so like you need to uh, build some sort of skill to build a career. Sorry, I'm just having some trouble with the internet here. So now, along with this, you need some other stuff that is focus, patience, effort, practice, perseverance. So it's a some effort. It's a sum total of all these things together to build a career to get these outputs. So in short, you need to have some sort of interest using which you build some skills and you put in a lot of effort focusing on that interest and skill that you have developed. You practice it daily and then you need to have a lot of patience to build a career, right? Fairly simple, isn't it? But let me tell you, that's not the case. Most people that I've been interacting with, this is the idea that they have. In the like a guy who was a fresher starting up either on his own venture or like starting to find a job and like get in somewhere. What I see is a lack of motivation mainly. So now let me ask you, so for someone who's totally a fresher, how do you decide which one among this would you choose? Right, I'll get to that point. I've included that already, so I'll get to that point. But let me ask you this question now. Let's say you have some sort of skills and now you're searching for a job. Okay, and how do you what do you expect from a job? What do you expect by joining a company? What is the expectations that you have? What are the expectations that you have when you join a company? You get paid every month, right? Right. Perfect. And that is a very good answer. Because if you're good at something, you need to get paid for it. Now let me ask you this question. Good position, true. What do you think employee equal to money, employer equal to fortune? That's hardly the case. Like when you're starting up on something new and when you have a very small team and all, that's not mostly the case. Anyways, let me ask you this question. What do you think the employer expects of you? Hard work and honesty. Trust. Perfection. To do a job that takes 4 days to be finished in 2 days. May be true, may not be true. Because now what I see mostly is a job that takes 2 days sometimes spans for 4 or 5 days. And you never know how the time flies. To consider the work as own, not as a duty. Right. So now there's an answer that I skipped reading because that is a very valid point. To do the job assigned to them effectively and quick. To consider the work not as work is what I guess this has meant. So like we shouldn't be whining about it. Like I'm given this task and I'm like, I really don't want to do this and I am given this task, it's boring and what do I do? So we don't want such kind of a mindset, right? We want them to be given a task and it being done effectively and quick. So while being freshers, when we look out for freshers, what happens is mostly they're clueless. They don't have any idea what they have done in the last 4 years. Not like leave alone their project. They don't have any hobby in which they have, leave hobby. They haven't practiced development or or like they haven't even focused on their project. Like most people, they outsource their project. Like it's like someone else's, thing to bother about. They go to project centers and get it done. They get that certificate and then come to me and then I'm asking questions about the project and they're like pointing hands at others. I did only this part. So recently one thing happened. I spoke to one of like one of during one of the interviews. I spoke to one girl and then she was like, uh, she said she did this project and got to a point where she was not able to answer anything about it. So I asked her finally like who did the project and then she's like I only did it, but like we had a team. So my part was to create only the what do you call it, the messaging part of it, like the OTP generation part. So you get around 3 to 6 months to complete a project and you took 3 to 6 months to create just one part of OTP generation, which is only a minute part of the whole project. That is not even an answer that anyone should give. So this experience with this guy, he was boasting about doing a lot of robotic stuff and uh, he had some line following robot. He won this competition, that competition, and then he came to me. And finally, he doesn't even know how a motor works. Difference between an AC and DC motor, doesn't know anything. So people like while putting something on your resume, you should be able to answer it properly. Even if you haven't done something, you have the time to really go through all of it and like be clear on what your part is in that project, right? So we have, as an employer, what we expect is, we are talking about small companies like mine wherein we don't have a lot of resources to spend on training students, right? So companies like Infosys and so there are certain companies wherein they intake a lot of freshers and they spend 3 to 6 months on training them alone. They don't do any client works or they don't do anything productive for the company, but those 3 to 6 months goes only into training. They get to make themselves more productive. I really don't understand what's the point of that when you have 4 years in college. You have 4 years in college, not a few months. 4 years in college, you got plenty of time at your hand. You don't have to worry about anything. At least most of us are fortunate to not have to worry about feeding our home. We don't have to worry about buying vegetables for the dinner. We don't have to like most of us are like fortunate to not worry about all those things. We got plenty of time in our hands, and yet in those 4 years you're not able to do this any of these, and then companies are spending their resources, time, money, human hours in, like those tutors who come in and train you, they're spending in more resources to train you after these 4 years of college. So this companies like ours is not like, very fortunate to spend so much on training them. We still do, but we cannot give a training to this level. We What we can do is mostly 1 month or 2 months at the tops, not more than that. We cannot spend time on you more than that. And there are people who are very capable while in college they have done something, and they have this ability to work on things. Are you able to follow me? Right. So plenty of time in our hands, and still it's very sad to see people coming in with no preparation. I mean, let's say you wasted 4 years of college. It's good to have fun, but not just fun, but it's good to have fun. And then at least when you start attending interviews, you need to have some sort of preparation, which I hardly see in any of those interviews that I've taken. Now, is it because all the good guys have gone to good companies and I'm getting only the bad ones? Certainly no. I had to take some people at some time, and then I trained them. Now they're like working awesome, right? So these people whom I first thought like I cannot give them a chance, but then once given a chance, they are willing to work. But the effort that I had to put in to get to that position was really, really hard. So as an employer, when I look while at an interview, what I look for in candidates is the ability to impress themselves. So I'll put it this way. So normally you say you get a job, right? You get a job, but I say you should take a job. You shouldn't get a job. Getting a job is like, it's like being given, but I'd say you should take a job, and to take a job you should be prepared, and you got a lot of time in your hands that you can use it wisely. And the reason why I'm not focusing on a full stack web development is because it's something that cannot be capsuled into 1 hour. So moving on, instant gratification generation. I'll tell you the reason. I was like doing some research on finding, you can call it Google searches, to find out why people are not becoming more productive. What is happening to us, including me? I'm not saying I'm perfect. The graph is never always going upward. Like, it's worse than your ECG. So I was trying to figure out what is wrong with us, as in all of us. Where are we going wrong? So currently it is very easy to put the blame on social media and Instagram and WhatsApp. But if you look, that is one of the main problems. So it's cliche. People are saying it. You should stay away from your social world, like social media apps and stuff. But there are some things to learn from that. So recently, like in this recent past, the last 10 years, probably we've been very much dependent on Google. And we have a question in our mind, we take like less than 5 seconds to search it on Google, and we get the result. So we have this, speed within us. Like, things are happening at speeds that you cannot even measure, right? Things are like at the tip of your fingertips. You have it out, you just ask Google, you're getting it, and you don't bother to go back about it, or you don't dig much about it. Again, I'm not saying about everyone, there are a few exceptions, but most of us, we rely so much heavily on these apps and stuff. So you post a photo on Instagram, and then you want to see every 10 minutes how many people are there, like, liking it. And if they don't, you don't feel good. So you want them to like your photos more. So you go out there, put tons of photos, and then showcase something, like things happening on TikTok and Facebook and all crazy. So our generation itself is called the instant gratification generation, and that has got a lot of effect on us. So when you talk about instant gratification, we like in colleges, at least we have exams. So we know we have to prepare for the exam, but we don't. Most of us, including me, I've only done last night studies, and we all do that, right? So we've been habituated to these kind of instant gratification around us in the form of Instagram and Facebook, and all of these has an impact on us. But this is something that you can definitely break out of. So the reason why we don't feel motivated these days to do something, hoping for the future, is explained very well by this guy. Have you heard about the instant gratification monkey? Anyone? Right. So there's this amazing guy called Tim Urban, and he has written this article about why we procrastinate. Right. So he has done a study about the difference between a non-procrastinator and a procrastinator. So a non-procrastinator's brain, there's only one guy who is holding the steering, and he is a rational decision maker. Can you see the screen? Are you able to read it? So this rational decision maker is like, I do things that make sense. I think long term, and I'm not a child. So he is very clear of what his focus is, and he's very well clear, I need to think long term. I'm not a child. I need to do a lot of things. So he's making the rational decisions. But these kind of people are very rare. Most of us has this little guy called instant gratification monkey. These are not my words. There's a whole TED talk with related to this. He has shared this on a TED talk. I'll share you the link afterwards. So most of our brain has this little instant gratification monkey, wherein we have something important in front of us. I have the same purpose as the guy above us, who is we are all the same. We have a rational mind, but then the instant gratification monkey comes into place, and then he's like, this. So the rational decision maker says this is a perfect time to get some work done, and then he's like, nope, let's watch some YouTube and Facebook, and then we'll do some sort of cleaning up. Like, you need motivation to work, so you start cleaning your desk, and then once that is done, it's already 2 o'clock, and then now it's lunchtime. So and then like, you need to get out after lunch, going somewhere. So you're like, you don't have the control over you anymore. Do you get this picture? Like, it happens to most of us, right? We set certain timeline for doing things, and we are like, okay, we'll play just this one game of PUBG, or just this one video, and then we get into this endless loop where it is engineered to keep people inside that loop. Facebook is engineered to keep you in that loop, right? So this is what mostly happens. This little instant gratification monkey is inside you, taking the wheel, and then you don't even realize. The moment you snap out of it, you're like, where did all my time go? Now I don't have any time left. So this is the problem. So we can break out of this. I'm not saying we should skip using all this. I'm not against Chinese apps or anything. We can use all of these apps, but still make time and to find reward. So like this instant gratification generation, the main thing what they say is you get a reward for everything that you do instantly. So you put a photo on Instagram, you get a like for it. You get one like, I'm like, okay, that's more than enough. I'm happy, right? There's one person who has been seeing you from somewhere, and then you're happy about it. And you send someone a WhatsApp message, and he doesn't open the message. He must have been probably driving or busy with something, and then he doesn't open the message. And you find it very disturbing. What has happened to him? Or is he ignoring me? You get a ton of questions, and you don't realize it very soon. So the way to break out of it is there are many ways you can see, like how to skip procrastination. I've been doing research on this mainly because I've been a procrastinator, and things was not, I didn't want things to be the way they were. And if things were like how it was before me, early version of mine, I would have still been stuck with that 3-member team, or probably I would have been still confined in those one bedroom where I used to work as a freelancer. So I wanted to get out of this. So I did a lot of research, and there are many ways you can get out of it, right? So earlier we discussed how do we build a career, and the rewards of it that we used to see was being happy, making money, building a family, buying a car, buying a house, which all seemed so far out there that you're not able to be instantly gratified. So when you're in the first year of college or second year of college, thinking about buying a house after 10 years will is not that rewarding to you. What is more rewarding to you will be watching that one video on YouTube, or putting that one photo on Instagram, and then someone seeing it is instantly gratifying. So in the process, though we do think long term, we do not take actions to it because it's not rewarding at all. We So we can change it by making a small difference to it. So the goal, building a career, the goal of building a career shouldn't be all these happiness and money and family and all that are byproducts of creating or adding value to yourself, right? There's a no in the chat. What is it about? Can you speak up, Amala? All right, we'll have a Q&A at the end. So if you have something to say, just put it out there, just type it. So the way we can instantly gratify ourselves in the process of working for a future is to make sure that we are rewarded every day, not just once. Like there's an exam coming up, we start studying for it the last moment, and we get a result after 2-3 months. We are happy that we passed because we didn't even put any effort at all. Like we hardly put any effort into getting that pass mark or like a good rank. So that process happens only once in a semester, right? That's like once in 4-5 months. Rather, what we can do is to make sure that you are creating or adding value to yourself every day. You have that conscious mind inside you. When that little instant gratification monkey says, let's watch that YouTube video, you should be the one saying you still can do it. You should be the one saying, okay, I'll watch this YouTube video probably after doing this, not the other way around. So you set a task for the day. It can be just half an hour, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. It's up to you. Start small. You don't need to think big and like think so much in advance. I really want to get there. How do I get there? Instead of worrying about it and like putting it for later, and rather than submitting yourself to the instant gratification monkey, what you can do is think of that small step that you can take today to to solve that urge. Like you have to do something, right? So you pick a task for the day, and you pick a task for the day, and once that is done, then you get your reward. So you want to play that game of PUBG, hold it until you finish your task, right? 1 hour, one line of code, how much time does it take? So you still can do it by just using these tools around you. Keep a tab on it. You should be in control and not the monkey, right? We still can do it by practicing. Anything happens with practice. So these awesome cricket players and football players and all that we see online, and like that we watch the match and all online and all, they didn't just come out there today and like I'm going to play for Argentina and like score these many goals, and they didn't think about that at all. They knew that's what they wanted to, but they didn't start by thinking that. They're like, I need to put in certain amount of hours today to practice and to be in shape and to have a good stamina and to work out and play. You need to set that set of a mind goals, and at the end, so like those are very keen on dieting and all. Like they probably set a diet goal, and at the end of the week they get to have a cheat meal. So like that's why you have cheat meals, right? So you diet for the whole 6 days, and then the 7th day you have a cheat day or a cheat meal. The reason why we include that is our gratification. So people now these days also do it kind of this way. Like you don't have to wait for the whole week to get a cheat meal. You can have it once in a day or like once in 2-3 days. So we can limit it by ourselves. We don't need someone else to do it for us, right? Most of us are mostly given things these days. Like I just said before, we are given a job, we don't take it anymore. Most of us don't take it. I took my job because the first job that I mentioned, I was working in Inforge and I left Inforge. I was not clear what I wanted to do anymore. I went and talked to my clients, those whom I worked with previously while working in Inforge, and I asked them if they had an opening for me. And there I knew what value I could give them, right? Having those 3 years of experience that I gained while sitting in college without putting in much effort, I was able to show that value to them. And the second chance that I got, I spoke to a couple of guys, and the second person was like, "Okay, come join me. I have this opening. I think you'll be a good fit for them." Right. So that was given to me because I went there asking for it. So that should be our mindset, and to do that, what we can do is it's creating value to ourselves. We need to add value to ourselves. We need to keep track of it, track of it on every day. So previously, when asking for what do you look for a career, I got this answers: perfection, satisfaction. The problem with these words is these are indeed right, but the problem with these are not quantifiable. Satisfaction, how do you quantify it? Like rather than, like, if you look on some feedback and all, you will see on a scale of 1 to 10, you need to quantify it. So satisfaction, just as a word, you're not able to quantify it. Things that are not able to quantify will not happen, because you cannot measure satisfaction every day. So what you can measure around you, at least for now, is time. How much time do you have? You can measure it. And once you're done with that, let's say you decided to work 1 hour every day, and at the end of the day you will have satisfaction. That is because you measured time and you're using it to create value to yourself. So once you do that, perfection and satisfaction will all follow. But these are not the things that you would want to focus on building a career. Do you get the point? So I hope I made my point clear. Is it? Right. So do what you can with what you have where you are. This is a famous quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and this is where I would like to end this topic on building a career. You don't have to wait for someone to give you opportunities, because at this time, everything is accessible at your fingertips. There's YouTube. The reason why I skipped like any technical details today is because there are plenty of people even more knowledgeable than me talking about full stack web development or mean stack or MERN stack, and there are tons of videos that you can get for free on YouTube. Or if you have some money saved, you can go to Udemy, or there are plenty of places where you can get all that thing. But what people don't do is that you don't take any action. With all that information sitting around you, you are still, happy with watching YouTube and thinking that time will give you things. You are willing to go with the flow, and like there are people who win that way, but that's not a win. That's a luck mostly. We don't want luck. We need, because you cannot, if you wait for luck to happen, you will sit and blame, I was not lucky, I was not privileged. But this is something that you need to do to make sure that you get it. You need to take it. You don't want to be given things. So do what you can with what you have where you are, right? Any questions so far? Excuse me. Can we go ahead? So now we'll discuss about how you find your interest and build your skill in a very simple way. I mean, I've already spoken about it, but I'll just give you a little more clarity. So now, a full stack developer at work. What is your concept about a full stack web developer? This picture pretty much sums it all. But anything apart from this? So the topic was full stack web developer, but I'm more focused about full stack developer because I want to give you a glimpse of what are the opportunities that lies out there. Speaking about web these days, web is something that you can hold in your hands. It's very the world is in your hands. The world that we see around us is inside this small phone that we carry, right? So the point that I'm trying to make is I don't want you to picture tech as something that you don't understand and you're clueless as to where to begin and stuff. Uh, Pretty much the World Wide Web, as it seems, is something that you can easily access to as a tool to get in touch with anyone across the globe. And people are doing businesses online, and there are communities online. There are places where you meet people online. So it's a different world altogether, right? So how do things work in the normal way? Just like we have businesses out there, like we have, let's say, Kalyan Silks, or like there are textile shops, and uh, there are many businesses out there. So you want to buy a TV, you go to some electronic shop and buy a TV, and you want dress, you go to some shop and get it. So everything that worked offline until now are going online. That is the only difference. It's another world altogether. It's a copy of the actual world that you see around you into a space altogether, right? So building anything in this world is similar to how you build something offline. Like you want to start a business, so you want to build a space. You want to first look for a plot, and then you build a building, and then you put a name board, and you put in your display, you showcase your products, right? So that is essentially the way the web works as well. It's nothing more than opening a new shop, right? Let's say Lulu want to open a new shop and serve millions of customers. The easiest way to do that is go online. So similar to how an offline construction works, in the online as well the same thing happens. So in space of the building we have a server. In space of the place where we put up the name, we have the domain name, right? The place where we showcase our products offline, similar to that we have the front end. So the front end, the client side, is where the users see what is there in that shop, and then you purchase something. So then we process it in the back end, right? So now the people working behind the stock and then billing and everything that happens in the offline world, we are essentially moving everything online to make it more convenient and make it more effective, right? We want it to be more economic. So if you want to otherwise open a shop to serve millions of, you will have to be in many physical places with an actual shop, and that costs you more, right? So you want to serve, let's say Swiggy wanted to do their food delivery by owning the restaurants. They'll have to set up shop in every small places to serve, let's say 10-kilometer radius, and that's not a practical thing to do because that is going to cost you so much. So there, opening a shop online will save them a lot of time. Then they're just connecting people, right? Is Lulu Mall have their online shop, Flipkart, Amazon, they're all online shops. They work exactly the way it works on offline. And just like building a building, let's say a full stack developer, like you've seen, is someone who can do multiple jobs at the same time. I mean, rather a person who is qualified to do multiple jobs working on something part by part. Okay, not at the same time. Like he can do the front end. So like let's say in case of a building, you can do plumbing, you can do electrical works, you can do carpentry work. So you have the knowledge to do everything. And what you can do with that is, let's say, like the example that we have seen, the bridge that starts from two ends meets at one point. So you have two full stack developers working on a project, and you start at two places and you meet at one point, but you need to meet at one point, right? We saw that image earlier wherein the bridges don't meet, but in our case we need to make sure that those bridges meet. So that's what a full stack developer does. And that is the reason why full stack developers are much in need, because small companies are not able to afford many people for different several tasks that we get, like one dedicated developer for the back end, one dedicated developer for the front end. They're not able to do that because mostly what happens is, sometimes it happens, right? Like we have the plumbing guy here and we have the uh, plastering guy here. So the plastering guys put the blame on plumbing guys. Since the plumbing is not over, we are not able to set up this wall, and there's a lot of blame game that goes on there. And if the plumbing guy could have also known the plastering works, the single guy can finish the plumbing work and do it by himself. He doesn't have to wait for someone. So that is the advantage of a full stack developer. He can do things like, so it's a huge application, and we have, let's say, 10 modules, and if we have 10 full stack developers, or let's say 5 developers working on 2 modules each, we can combine all of them. These days we call it different names. The backend, there are many architectures. I'm not going to the technical details, but then you combine your effort and get a solid product out of it faster than if you get it with a wide team, because there are a lot of chain of commands happening, communication levels are there, and all those delays you can save because one guy can take the decision, or there's one architect giving work to a full stack developer. He can do the whole model and then club it together, right? So this is the reason why we are looking for full stacks. And full stack is not limited to just one person doing the whole thing. There are different kinds of full stack web developers. So this you must not have known before, because full stack developers are not just web developers. There are full stack DevOps engineers, there are full stack backend developers, there are front end full stack developers. So there are many kinds. Like, this is a meme, but there are such kinds of levels in full stack. So when you go to a bigger company, even they need full stack developers, but the full stack developers that they are looking for will be more domain specific, backend, or a full stack. There are many technologies that go into making a front end alone. So one person knowing it all is not an option for bigger companies. Those who have the time and time to spend on it, or the budget to spend on it, they will be looking for people with more niche ends, right? So when you're really a backend developer, you market, yes, this happens when you're really a backend developer, but you market yourself full stack. So there are people who are very focused on making the backend, but they tell others that they're front end. This is what happens. So bigger companies, they'll want people to have a full stack knowledge of the backend. A stack means the set of tools that you need to do something. A stack is as simple as that. So to create a website, you need MERN stack or mean stack, MongoDB, Angular, React, or Node. So there are different combinations. Once you know all of that, little bit of all of that, you can do a complete site. Like even I can do a site alone, but when the project gets bigger or it gets more complicated, it is not easy for a single person to work on it. So there we look for full stack backend developers, and then we look for full stack front end developers, and then we look for DevOps, right? So the list goes on. So now, answering the question as to how you find your interest and skills it's not that complicated. It's very easy. It's one step at a time, right? You should have that curiosity to sit and explore stuff. It's like climbing a pyramid or a mountain, right? At the top lies where you want to be. Again, it's not technical. I can help you out. If you're someone willing to start out, we can have a chat after this. The point that I'm trying to convey is, to find out where your interest lies, you need to start somewhere. So let's say you want to build something. You want to be a data analyst. You need to collect those data. And the way you collect that data is you can start from the scratch, right? Now you have time. Now you're either first year, second year, third year. Like even for third years have 1 year of time ahead of you. So you can use that time to start from somewhere. You just test it out yourself. Google how to build a website, find out how front end works, find out how back end works. So the more you start working, you will find out that, okay, now I find this more easier, or I find this more challenging to do. I like to work on front end. And like as you go ahead, so like once you start and you do a lot of stuff, you keep practicing, You make your first website. You print your hello world first, and then you make your first website, first static website, and then a dynamic website, and then you go on, and then you find, let's come up with a crazy idea that you just want to try it out. I'm not asking you to build a company over it. I'm just asking you to get some idea that is either existing around you. Find that idea. Like, let's say I started by doing a stock market, a stock keeping unit, a stock monitoring unit for my uncle's go down, right? So that is something very common. I wanted to test what I learned: create, read, update, delete, four things that are essential for a backend, crude. I just wanted to test it out there. So by testing it more, I wanted to apply that knowledge what I tested to use it for real time things. And my uncle wanted to include a barcode scanner because he wanted to make it more efficient, make it more faster. So the way the more you try experimenting, the more you spend time playing with something, you understand that this is where my interest lies. I want to crack those logic behind how the thing works. So then you are more focused on working on a back end. And but some of you might be like, I want to make that look more interesting, more colorful, more user friendly. User interface should be much better, user experience. So those people can work on front end development. And then and then there are operations. So like hosting a website, starting from a shared hosting to VPS, it goes on AWS, Azure. You must have heard of a lot of cloud services and stuff. So host a website you can get a hosting as cheap as 200 rupees for a month. So that's less than what you spend on eating outside when going out with your friends. For once, just try hosting a website. Go on to, let's say, GoDaddy. That's very simple. BigRock. There are many providers. Go out there, try hosting one website for the first time. And you'll learn, right? Those are the backend operations. The DevOps mainly work on, setting up shop like AWS, the resources needed for a website to run smoothly. So play with it. And as you go forward, you started from, just one hello world. And then you have figured out, this is not the place for me to be. I don't want to be in backend. I want to be in front end because I'm good at it. I can play around with divs, and if you're into mobile development and all, you can find out there are many design strategies, how to people get hooked on your product. And there are many ways where you'll find your interest. And eventually you'll find that top of the pyramid where you want to be, right? At some point you will feel there is even more to go, because once you start studying, it's an endless process. And by measuring it on a daily basis, that's how you make sure that you're creating value to yourself and adding more value to you as you go forward. So right now, I'm pretty sure even if everything goes sideways and I have to take up a job, I'm pretty sure I can go to any company and land a job. I'll take that job for me, right? Because on the process in the last almost 10 years journey, I have built from hello world, I've made an application. I've sold applications to many people, and they've given me feedbacks. Sometimes they'll be scolding me. This is not what I wanted. Like, you wasted my time and energy. I should have given to some other company. Learn from your mistake. It's not like, okay, I'm not good for it. Like that guy scolded me. I'm not good for it. I'm not going to go ahead with this. It's not just like that. You need to make sure that you're adding value to yourself every day. Start something small, just from a hello world. Go ahead. You want to build something in the mobile world or for the web, decide. That's something for you to decide, right? I cannot spoon feed everything to you. You have to take action. Figure out where you want to head out. You want to focus on like your web or mobile, and then you choose your way. Do you want to focus on backend or full stack? With this time that you have, 3 years or so, like, if minimum 1 year you have, the third year students will have at least 1 year. That's a plenty of time. If you spend 4 hours a day, that's a lot of time. I've got people working with me who are final year students. They spend 4 to 5 hours and they make decent money. I'm not saying the money to be motivation, but there are people doing that. And the reason why I hire such people are because they started from very early days. Like, they have this phone. Like, most of them even didn't have computers with them. They just started using a phone. They started doing research, and then they came to me. They're like, how do I do this? How do I do that? I don't have a computer. So then they started using emulators on their phone with those small screens in their hand. They start developing things, and then they prove the point that they want to do something really good. They beg their parents for a computer, and then they prove things. Once they got the computer, they have done remarkable things. There's this guy I work with. He's like, gave him a start, and then he started building apps on his own when his free time. He wanted to study. A note app, a note like you must have be familiar with Google Keep and stuff. It's a pretty simple note app, taking notes, right? Set a reminder to the note. He made a note app all by his own, and it's remarkable. The thing is, it's nothing new. There are tons of notes app out there, but he took that step, like he wanted to learn. Now he's focused on something else because he have started somewhere, and now he's at a point like, this is what interests me. That is how you pick a skill. That is how you find your interest and develop it. Because no one can come and tell you, like they cannot ask you a list of questionnaire and ask you, or tell you, this is what you want to become. No one can, spoon feed you that way. You need to figure it out for yourself. I figured out that, I really want to be, I like to solve challenges. So like a customer comes to me with a problem statement. I understand their problem, and I rather than sitting and coding, I feel interested in becoming an architect. I give them the solution. I make sure that my team develops it for them, because that's where my interest lies. I didn't know I wanted to become I wanted to start a company. I did it in the early days, but that was not my interest. Like I was a full stack developer back then. I used to sit and do everything, starting from scratch and hosting it on a website, like on the server. I've done everything, but I didn't know I'm going to be at this point back then. All I wanted to do was test it out there, how it works. I was curious to know how it works. I tried it, right? And I got to this point wherein I can, like, now I know where I'm headed, because I spent this much time. I spent almost 10 years of my time trying to do this. Now that doesn't mean I've been doing only this. I've been watching movies. I've been, I do, come on Instagram, Facebook. I use all of that, but I know what are my limits. I don't want someone else to be using me. I want to use them as a tool. I use Facebook to reach out to potential customers, LinkedIn to talk to customers, right? Instagram for customers, friends, family, everyone. I'm saying, I can use them as a tool for me as well. I use them to connect to my friends and family. Along with that, it's a big place for you to use it. Rather than those apps using you, it's time for you to use them, right? So when you start, you will be like this panda. You have this dream of becoming a dragon warrior, but you don't know how. And he was given a task for selling noodles. You must have seen this movie, right? So you start this journey not knowing where you're headed, but he started climbing and he's like, I'm done. I'm almost there. I don't know how I'm going to get there. He was almost given up, but then he really wanted to see at least who is the dragon warrior was going to be. He reached there, the door was shut, but even then, perseverance, that is the key word. He was not willing to, give up. He was trying to figure out a way to get inside that temple and see who the dragon warrior is going to be. And then, even before you realize, you are the dragon warrior. So this is where I want to end it, saying there is no secret ingredient. It's just you. Those who have seen this movie will get the reference, right? 1 hour just went by. So thank you. I'm open for questions, and I'll try to answer them.